Studying shouldn't feel like you're drowning in information, but for most people, it does. And the harder you try, the messier it gets. Welcome back to Bargain Brand Wellness. Most of us aren't bad at learning, we're bad at organizing what we're learning. Tonight, we're talking about why studying feels so overwhelming and how structure changes everything. This isn't about shortcuts or cheating, it's about thinking more clearly. So grab your notepad and your laptop and let curiosity settle in. Welcome to Wellness. Welcome back, my wellness warriors, my self-care connoisseurs, my off-brand VIPs. We got another fun show for you tonight. Super excited to be back. Unfortunately, we missed Saturday's episode. Got a little bit late, but that's all right. We got a little bit of a new format today. We're going to be running through. We're going to be shortening up the show a little bit. So rather than doing our close to 2-hour show, we're going to be kind of chopping it in half. I actually created a lot of new segments to kind of bring into the show, but we're going to be rotating them in every week or every show. So what you see on tonight's episode, you might not see on Wednesday's episode. But we are kind of down. My thought process was kind of turning this into more of a show you would watch on TV. So, which is anywhere from half an hour to an hour long. So we're going to be pushing for an hour. We're still playing some games. We may not play all of the same games because we're still incorporating the Wheel of Wellness. But as far as our segments are already built into today's show. So we're going to see how this rolls through. I'm super excited to get it going. Bargain Brand Wellness is partnered with Dude Wipes for all your fresh and clean needs. Get yourself some Dude Wipes, especially before you do the doo-doo. Absolutely super excited about that. We're going to be changing up how we do our giveaways. Dude Wipes isn't sending us enough Dude Wipes, and I have to reach out to them every time to do that. So we gave away some, 3 or 4 packs of Dude Wipes. We did that. It was fun, but it's not something I can maintain until we can start generating some revenue on this channel. So we are still going to do giveaways. We'll still do our end of the month giveaways for Bargain Brand Wellness merch. But we're going to be kind of setting some goals for the channel in order for us to do other giveaways, wellness related items. So stay tuned for that. That'll be tied anywhere from getting our subscribers up to a certain amount, to live goals that we achieve on TikTok and even YouTube once we do get monetized over on YouTube. But we're quite a ways from that. So, but if you would like to support this channel, click the link in the description. Head on over to Patreon. Become a wellness warrior over there. We actually have a freed subscription over there. Free subscription over there. Become a wellness warrior. Become a member. We don't put a whole lot on Patreon, but that is where we can kind of accept monetary donations, gifts, memberships, whatnot. And by joining over there for free, you get your name thrown in the wellness jar every month. So you have an opportunity to win free merch. We have our Make It Worth Your Wellness, our flagship t-shirt. We have our Bargain Brand Wellness hat on sale as well. You can win that. And we have our limited edition. Mine finally came in. We have our self-care on clearance t-shirt. Turned out really, really well. I'm super excited about this. These are all for sale. You can click the link in the description, head on over and purchase them, and we'll get it to you. But you can also win these by simply being here with us. So yeah, head on over there. You can find us live on YouTube at Bargain Brand Wellness. You can also find us live on TikTok at Off-Brand Tim. We're here 3 days a week, typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But we kind of change it up depending on what my schedule with my family is. Singify Sessions is also going to be changing up a little bit just because we've been having some problems with the app. I was able to get our last episode song downloaded, and I went ahead and downloaded one for tonight's episode. We'll see if people pop in here. Maybe we'll play it. But I think what we're going to be start doing, we're going to create one song per week. I still like to tie it to the theme for the week. So I'm writing down the theme for all 3 shows, as well as some key words that kind of pop up throughout today's show. We'll be using those to generate original songs that I will be writing the lyrics to. And then we'll plug that into Signify. So we will be making one song per week. Now, that is a lot of credits. That's a lot of credits that are going to go unused, but maybe we can come up with a couple variations. So we are going to be doing that. So Singify Sessions is going to change. But you can still find all the songs we make over here on any major streaming platform, whether it be YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever your platform of choice is. Good chance you're going to find Bargain Brand Wellness music over there. Go over, check it out. Albums are labeled as the Singify Sessions. October and November are currently up. December, I will work on getting up. I was waiting to get up to see if Singify was going to keep working. And I finally got the songs to download, but it took a little finagling. Last thing before we kind of get into today's show is if you would like to become a guest on the show, we have a Studio application. You can find that in the description as well over on YouTube or over on Patreon. And when I say application, it's really just a way to give me your contact information. You fill that out, shoot it to me, and I'll see if what we can do to get you on here. And if you want to come on and talk about anything wellness, 30, 45 minutes, hop on. We do have a guest scheduled for tonight, not tonight, Friday night's episode. We will have Ethan McDermott back on. He's going to be talking about a little spicy post he made on Facebook not so long ago about youth sports. So we're going to be talking about that. Super excited to have him on. Yeah, so that'll be this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, with that being said, I think we need to go ahead and get into today's episode. Returning Wellness Warriors of the Day, we have my mom, Linda Marine, in first place with 2 badges this month. And then we have Joey, Steven, Danny, and Caden up here with 1 badge each. We're still early in the month. This is the 9th. Like I said, we did miss 1 episode, but we're trying to make it up. We're trying to stick to that 3 times a week, but at the very least, we will always go live at least twice a week, unless something random happens. But I do my best to let everybody know ahead of time. All right. So before we get into this, our talk, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about what leads us up. I'm going to record this part, and then we'll get into it. In the work as I do as an instructor, a lot of what I see isn't people just struggling with effort. They're struggling with structure. I worked inside frameworks like DBT and PBIS, where skill building matters more than motivation. And the same pattern shows up over and over. People confuse exposure to information without understanding it. Add in what I'm studying in psychology, and this idea keeps resurfacing. Learning breaks down when everything lives in one big mental pile. I don't have a perfect system, but I've spent real time with this, and I can help make sense of why studying feels harder than it needs to be. Healing, not sold separately. All right, so I'm going to be talking here shortly about what I use, or how I use AI to help me study my schoolwork. All right, we're going to start off with a spin on the wheel of wellness. Spin on the wheel of wellness. As I mentioned before, the wheel of wellness has had another little bit of an evolution. What you can see up here is all the games we play. We'll be adding games to that. There are a couple little pieces on here that aren't necessarily segments. They're just kind of temporary things. So Let's Be Honest and Daily Devotional are still on here because I pull those straight from these books, and it's kind of random. So I don't always know how it's going to fit into today's theme. If we get on those, we will do those. And then we do have Karaoke Chaos on here. I do like doing karaoke. I have a fun time with it. So we won't do it every stream. We'll just see what the wheel tells us. We'll have 8 spins throughout today's episode. So there's 12 items, so we won't get through everything, but we'll see what we get into. Let's give a spin. All right, we're going to start off with some silly little games, courtesy of Miriam and Angela. We're doing our silly little codes. We've been doing that game for several months, and I will say the hints have gotten better. The games have been a lot more fun. There was a couple times in the early going, I was like, I don't know if I like this game, but it's definitely gotten much better. And the hints are really helpful, very helpful, especially when I don't have a clue. All right, let's see what today's puzzle is. I saw this one TikTok. It almost got spoiled for me. I hurried up and scrolled away from it. All right. So I'm seeing M over top an arc. I'm thinking this is a name. Usually when there's 2 things, it's a name. So I'm going to say Mark. Mark. Bread. Is that bread? A slice of bread. Here's the... You know what came to my mind first? Marty McFly. But that's not right. Bread fly. Refly. Mark sandwich fly. Mark bread fly. I'm feeling Mark. That looks like an arc. Out of all the types of ship, that's obviously water underneath of it. That's an arc. I'm 98% positive on Mark. Just the last part. Mark. That's got to be bread, right? Slice fly. Or maybe it's not a name. Let's click the hint. No, it's an animal. It's an animal. Okay. I don't know of any animals named Mark. What the heck's a sandwich fly? Bread fly? That is a fly, right? Or is it just bug? Bread bug, sandwich bug, slice bug. The heck? All right, we got a harder one here tonight. Yeah, this is definitely one of the hardest ones we've had in a while. Mark. I'm sticking with Mark. You're not going to tell me that's anything different. Mark the sandwich fly. It's just, it doesn't quite look like bread, but it's a rectangle with a slice. Which to me is kind of indicating like, hey, I know this doesn't look like bread, but it's bread. Bread fly. I mean, let's mark bread fly. Okay, try again. We typically go about 5 minutes into this if we can't get this one because there's no other hints to go with it. Sandwich fly. Sand fly. Sand fly. Sand flea. Mark sand fly. Hold on. Hold on. That's butter. Monarch butterfly. Bam! I was wrong on the mark. Monarch. That was butter. Fly. That was a good puzzle. That was tricky. Kudos. Kudos to that one. I definitely like that one. That was good. All right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into chapter 1 of today's segment. We're going to watch the first little portion of the video we're watching, which is by Dr. Salim Ahmed. He's a med student in secret to study 10 times faster with AI in one day. So let's record this part. All right, so we're watching a video here by Dr. Salim Ahmed. Title of the video is Med Student Secret to Study 10 Times Faster with AI in one day.
If you want an easy system to study 10 times faster from today, then you've come to the right place. Because throughout my undergrad and postgraduate degrees, and now at med school, I've studied for thousands of hours. And over the past year, I've been using AI to study better so that I still have time for more of the things I care about. So I'll go through a 5-part system so that you can do the same. And the last point is especially good for exam week, so stick around for them. So first, I have a question. When you write notes or go through your classes, how much of it do you remember? Because for me, I don't remember much when I first take notes compared to when I go through them after. So the sooner I get to reviewing my notes, the better it was for actually learning. But for school or uni, the classes aren't organized in a way that's good for taking notes. And that meant spending a lot of time to make notes good enough to revise from. So the first way to use AI software like ChatGPT to study faster is by using it to optimize your notes. And there's a few ways you can do this. One way is to copy the rough notes that you took, or even copy the notes from your teacher's presentation and ask the AI to systematically organize the notes. This could be asking it to create a table so that you can easily refer back to different points and topics instead of scanning through a load of text. Or it could be asking it to organize your notes into different sections, like separating your notes into definitions, key concepts or formulas, and make it fill in any gaps.
So I really like this. This is a nice starting place because it kind of starts by by framing AI as more of a relief, helping with faster answers, easier studying, and less stress. But what's being sold here isn't just efficiency, it's emotional relief from the overwhelm. I kind of like his idea of sorting notes. I don't do this, but I like the idea of this. Typically what I do is I will take, let's say I have 10 different readings that I can get through, but I'm probably not going to remember most of what I read. So what I'd like to do is I take those readings in probably a PDF form and I upload them to ChatGPT, and I've summarized. It doesn't really help. I still don't remember anything, but I have it give me what we have titled the bucket breakdown. And within the bucket breakdown, it condenses all those readings into however many buckets it determines. Anywhere from 5-6 buckets about different core ideas that are related across all the text. Now, not every text might be in each bucket. It's sorted into the bucket that it belongs to, the main pieces of it. Then it'll kind of let me know how it's going to do. And then from there, we generate the buckets. And I typically do one at a time. ChatGPT, as well as other AI tools, it'll give you everything at once. But sometimes I feel like it moves a little too fast. I like to slow it down and do one at a time. And so it'll give me the bucket breakdown. And I'll read through that, kind of picking up all the knowledge. But then this is where the fun starts. Then we start having reflection, right? It starts asking me questions based off of my experience, based off of what I've read, maybe pulling some stuff that was in the text that we didn't cover. So it's important to always note that. But then we'll have discussion, we'll have reflection questions about that before moving on to the next bucket. Given some time, we get through all the buckets. And then I tend to then go back and say, hey, is there any definitions, core concepts, examples, data that we haven't talked about throughout these bucket breakdowns? Because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And then it'll give me those as well. All right. Stay tuned for the next part because I'll tell you how then I up my studying. Yeah, I really enjoy the AI. It's really enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely made it a lot easier, and I feel like I'm retaining more information. I'll tell you, the one week I had like 15 different readings. Now, I think some of them were optional because a lot of them were very relatable, but it didn't say that. So if you give me 15 readings, I'm under the impression that I have to do them all. So that's where the bucket breakdown came from. Because I'm like, I can do these readings, but I like to read, and I've been in school for this my third year now, and I'll read through some of the stuff knowing that I have a bunch of other stuff to do, and I couldn't tell you what the heck I just read. It's one of those things when you read, if you're not interested, it doesn't do you any good. You can take notes, but then you got to still decipher the notes. How do you know if you're even taking good notes? It can be really difficult. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this method, and I definitely feel like I'm retaining more information, especially as I get into my more difficult years. So yeah, we'll pop back over to the next chapter here shortly. But let's talk about Today in Science. Today in Science comes from very recent research on AI and learning, including a 2025 meta-analysis published in Nature that reviewed over 50 studies on how tools like ChatGPT affect student learning. What's interesting is that the research doesn't land on AI is good or AI is bad. It lands on how AI is used. Across the studies, students showed better comprehension, retention, and higher order thinking when AI was used to organize information, break material into categories, similar to what we do, explain concepts at different levels, generate practice questions. But when AI was used to produce finished answers, those benefits dropped or disappeared entirely. Basically here, in other words, AI helped most when it acted like a scaffold, not a substitute. The researchers were pretty clear about this. AI works best when it supports active engagement and reduces cognitive overload, not when it removes the thinking part of learning. That lines up almost perfectly with what we already know about the brain. Learning improves when information is structured and chunked. It struggles when everything hits at once. So the science isn't saying, let AI do your work. It's saying, use AI to help you think more clearly. So if all tools help you organize your thinking, but you still have to do the thinking, does that make learning weaker or stronger? My vote, stronger. So yeah, we really enjoy that as our new segment today in science. That'll be a recurring theme. You can kind of see across the show. Super excited for that. Yeah. Fun. Let's go ahead and get another spin on the wheel of wellness. We're still figuring out today's flow, kind of seeing how things run through. If we have to dial back, I don't want to feel like we're rushing through content, but if we feel like we have to like maybe dial some things back, maybe get some things out of here, we'll definitely do that. And honestly, sometimes our times are going to depend on how long we spend on the game. Some of our days are spending 20 minutes on a game. Those days are kind of long gone. All right, we're going to do Q-List. That's another fun game we like to play. We're going to switch over to the overhead camera. All right, Q-List is another fun game we started playing. We're going to time this, even though we're not doing challenges anymore. We're still going to time it, see how long it takes. Q-List is our fun solitary game. As we know, most roles are solvable, but not all of them. Not all of them. Let's see what we got. I see some good vowels. Once we get everything set up, we will start the timer. I see a double T, double N. All right, I like our letters. K's can be a little tough at times, but I think we got this with 3 vowels. Let's get started. All right. I'm really wanting to throw those 2 T's together, but that might not be a good move. But we'll see. We don't have an E, or else we could definitely do little. I see flank. Oh, I like flank. Flank's a good word. 5 letters. I like five letters or more. I do like that. We got tank. Oh, no W, or we could do clown. Got flock. Gotta pull something down from here. We gotta work our way down. We got O's and I's. And I'm okay if we don't even have to use this A. If we did 5 here, we may not even need to use the A here. But we might. We'll see. Yeah, I did start the timer, didn't I? Boom. Ooh, thought I had talk. I mean, we got can't. Oh, we got coin. I don't know if I like that though, because that kind of blocks off the A and the I. Just leaves us the O to play with, and I don't think we got anything there. So yeah, I don't think I like that. But we do have can't. I don't know how I feel about that one, but that leaves us a T, F, and a K to still play around with. Something like kit. Yeah, kit and then lot. It seems simple, but I mean it works for me. Blank, can't, lot, kit. Not bad, not bad. We get that in 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Not bad. So that is Q-List. Check it out. It's a fun game. It's available in the TikTok shop. Get it while supplies last. We really enjoy that game. People are going to record. I didn't record the today in science, but we are going to record some of these other ones. On our next segment, the thing behind the thing, On the surface, when people talk about studying, they usually say things like, I can't focus. I keep rereading and nothing sticks. Or, I know this, but I can't explain it. But the thing behind the thing usually isn't intelligence. And guess what? It's not motivation either. Most of the time, it's uncontained information. When everything you've learned lives in one big mental pile, definitions, names, theories, examples, your brain doesn't know where to start. So it freezes. Not because you're lazy, but because there's no structure telling what goes where. This is why studying feels exhausting before it ever feels productive. Your brain is trying to sort and understand at the same time. That's a lot to ask. The bucket breakdown separates those jobs. First, you decide what kind of information something is, only then do you worry about the details. So when someone says, I can't focus, the real issue is often, I don't know where this belongs. So let's reframe this as studying doesn't get easier when you try harder. It gets easier when the information finally has a place to land. If you like what you're seeing, click that like, share, subscribe, or follow button. Tell a friend, tell your family members, tell your coworkers, tell that person you don't even like. They're going to come over here and hang out with us for a little bit. You're going to make a friend. All right, we're heading back over to the Wheel of Wellness, get another spin. See what we're getting into next. All right, we're going to play a little Contexto. Fun little game that we like to play on here. All right, I'm going to start off with my usual dog, fish, house. We like to try to get these in 50 guesses or less. 50 guesses or less. Dogs at 1058. Not feeling good about that. Water, plant. Boom, nothing there. Dog, wolf, tooth, bark. Oh, food, shelter. Okay, no. Maybe is it an animal? Maybe. Cat. Meow. Fur. Skin. Walk. Run. Still in the orange here. Trying to get in the green. I don't know. Dog's been our closest answer yet, and it's still 1,058 off. And water didn't get us. Water usually gets us closer. Planets. Planet's a little bit closer. Island. Ocean. No. Moon. Captain Planet. He's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero. Okay, we got planet at 978. Cloud. Sun. Rain. Alright, typed it. Oh. Star. Snow. Alright. Let's get a hint, because we're not even close. Detail. What? Specific. Okay. Hint. Okay. Hint. Blue. Blue! Man! Talk about a hint. Did that really get us close? I mean, that just put us there within 3 guesses. All right, I'll take it. That was cool. I thought that was going to be a lot harder when we didn't get any close, but just that one hint put us exactly where we needed to. All right, that's fun. That was good. That was good. All right, let's get into chapter 2. So chapter 2, as AI as an explainer and a tutor, what's really happening here is that AI is positioned as a tutor, explaining concepts, simplifying language, answering questions instantly. And this is the strongest part of the argument, and it's where most people kind of nod along. Right? The key detail is that AI is being used to respond, not decide. The structure of learning is still unclear.
Gaps. This is going to cut down a lot of your prep time so that you can spend more time on actually learning. So now that you have organized notes, I have another question. What do you think is the best way to study? Because students use all kinds of techniques, from rereading their textbooks to studying with friends. But when you do an exam, what are you doing? You're answering questions. And doing practice questions has good scientific evidence for studying because it's a form of active learning. Because it's this active input where you think critically to take information out of your brain that helps you learn, which passive forms of learning won't do. But if you've done this before, you know that making questions takes a long time. So instead, use AI to generate questions. This can be to make questions from your notes or make questions specific to your exams. Like my exams are in a multiple choice format, so I asked it to make questions from my notes in the same way. And you can take it a step further by making it aware of your grade at school or uni so that the questions are personalized to your level. This is going to save you the hours you would have spent making questions so that you can use the time to actively learn instead. But I've noticed that quite a few of you have the problem of not knowing where to start or not having any notes to begin with. But whatever you're studying, there's always learning objectives you can follow, and AI can help you streamline this in a few ways. The first is by copying your learning objectives and asking it to create brief notes on the key concepts so that you can build your core understanding of the topic instead of focusing on the small details. And again, to take it a step further, personalize it by asking it to create notes for your education grade so that you learn the right level of detail and don't waste time on things you don't need to know.
Yeah. And so why does this matter? Explanation helps, but explanation alone doesn't create understanding. Without organizing information, explanations float without context and fade quickly. And this is where people confuse clarity in the moment with learning over time. So this is kind of my little hint that I said I was leading up to, is after I do my bucket breakdown, I will have ChatGPT make up a quiz based off of everything we talked about. And once answering that, it can then see where I struggled and then see that I need a little bit more tutoring in that realm. So your next reflection question here is, after an explanation, could you explain the idea back without looking, or did it just make sense while you were watching? Right? That's the key. That's the key, is if the information sticks. I'm even kind of seeing, as we're going through this, some different ways we can kind of tier these little video breakdowns to like different sections, like what's happening here, why this matters, reflection question. I don't think it needs to be on every single piece. So we're evolving here. Like I said, I'm trying to find a way to kind of make this flow a little bit better, especially for these part, because this is what I'd like to be our long form videos to get more of our content out there, right? I know quality is important and I want to get higher quality, but I also want to bring some oomph. All right. What do we got next? All right. Our next segment, if only this were true. If only this were true. If only this were true. If I read it enough times, it'd eventually stick. That belief makes a lot of sense. Rereading feels productive. You're sitting there, you're engaged, you recognize the material, and your brain gives you that quiet little nod like, yeah, I've seen this before. But recognition isn't understanding. Rereading mostly builds makes things familiar, not retrieval. You recognize the words on the page, but that doesn't mean you can explain the idea, connect it to anything else, or recall it later without looking. This is where people get tricked. The material feels easier because it looks familiar, but when it's time to actually use it, test, paper, or discussion, it falls apart. Buckets interrupt that illusion. When you put something into a bucket, you're forced to answer a harder question. What kind of idea is this? And how does it relate to the others? That moment of discomfort is where learning actually happens. So maybe the more honest version of that belief is if I organize this once, I won't need to reread it 10 times. Interesting thought. Interesting thought. All right, let's head back over to the Wheel of Wellness. Let's get another spin. See what we're going to get into next. All right, we got Wordle. We're gonna head on over to Wordle, play our daily game, our first ever game we ever played on here. I'm gonna draw a letter, and that'll be our starting, and see what we get. Let's draw a letter. See if we can, and we like to see if we can get it 3 guesses or less. All right, I got a letter, and we get the letter N. I like number N. Letter N. We've been getting that a lot lately. Never. Nears. No, that's not a word. I like to use one with multiple vowels. Naked. Naked's first word that came to me. Hey, we got an E. I'll take it. We got an E. Space. I was gonna say space. There's no A. Well, I was gonna say speed. There's no E. Or no, I mean no D. Shell. Oh, I don't want to do 2 L's though. Should do there. I like that. Let's try there. No. Okay. The E doesn't go there. So E's got to be second then, unless it's first. It could be last. I'm thinking the E's the second letter though. I mean, we got P. Where use I and A, so I'm thinking we got an O maybe. Definitely want to try to use that H. Oh, not the H, sorry. The S. Is there any SE words? Sever? It's already been sever though, I think. Sewer. Oh, there's no R. Maybe I want to try to put that E at the end. Ooh, I saw slice for a second, but there's no I. Slope. I like slope. Is it slope in 3? No, but we got an L and an O. Okay. All right, so that E's got to be second. E's got to be second. E's got to be second. What the heck is the first letter? I mean, it could be L-E. L-E something O. Something O something. I feel like I don't like that L at the first letter though. So if it's so let's say it's not the first letter. So it'd be something E, and it could be L-O, or that L could be at the end. I feel like the O is going to be the fourth letter. It could end in O, but I don't know. I don't think so. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This is a hard one. I'm just not seeing it. I don't think it's L. I don't think it's ELO. Maybe it's something OL. What though? I'm not feeling it. Let's try putting that L back in the beginning. Something and blank O blank. I'm not feeling that either. L-E blank. Leb-O, lemo. Lemon? No, there's no N. Ooh. I thought we had it for a second. I'm almost tempted to try lemon just to see if the letters are in the right places. That's all I'm seeing. Let's try that. Let's just try lemon. I know there's no N. Okay, so the E is now in the right place. It's got to end in an O then. The heck is this word? So it ends in an O. Cello? Cello in 5. Yeah, cello. I wasn't thinking it ended in O, and it did. And it had a double L. Had a double L. That was a good one. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. All right. Terrible life advice that I almost believe. Just highlight what's important. Highlighting feels like studying. It looks academic. It gives you color-coded proof that you tried. And honestly, this is why it almost works. The problem isn't that highlighting doesn't force decisions. It doesn't ask why something matters or where it belongs. When everything is highlighted, nothing stands out. You end up with notes that look busy, but don't tell you what to do with the information. There's no hierarchy, no grouping, no retrieval, just bright confusion. Buckets do what highlighting pretends to do. Highlighting says, this matters. Buckets say, this matters because it belongs here. That difference is huge. One marks information, the other organizes for understanding. So yeah, highlighting isn't useless. It just can't be the system. All right. Terrible life advice, I almost believe. Yeah, I told you we got a lot of new segments, a lot of which we're actually doing on today's stream. Not all of them, but a lot of them we're doing on today's stream. All right, we're going to get another spin on the wheel of wellness. It's kind of like every other segment. So we're still getting plenty of spins on here. It's just a little bit of a different format. We'll flow with this one for a little while. See how we like this one. See what we're going to get into next. Looks like we're going to do a little Rubik's Mania. We like that. Rubik's Mania is fun. We're going to see if we can beat our best time. Minute 21. See if we can get it. I do need to take these glasses off so I can see a little bit better. All right, let's get started. See if we can get this pretty quickly. Got our white daisy set up. Now we just got to get our white cross, and that's where it needs to be. Now we're working on finishing the rest of the bottom, which is basically putting all the white at the bottom and then finishing the bottom layer. And just like that, bottom layer is done. Now we're going to work on the second layer. Shouldn't be too bad once we figure out where all the pieces are at. God dang it. And I messed up. This dang thing keeps sticking on me, and it makes it really hard for me to do this. Let's get back to where we were at. We won't beat our time today, but it keeps sticking on me whenever I get going because it's not that I'm moving too fast. Just like that, we got what we were trying to do anyway. But yeah, I need to get a better cube because this one is just, it sticks on me and then it messes me up and then I forget where I'm at in my combination because I get moving too quick. I enjoy it, but it makes it a little bit hard. So we're not going to beat our time, but I'm hopeful that we still get another 2 minutes, and I think we're going to, even though we messed up. Nice little turnaround. Minute 46. Not bad. Not bad considering we had a little bit of a mix-up. But yeah. So that is Rubik's Mania. We enjoyed that one. That was fun. We're getting pretty good at the Rubik's. Getting pretty good at it. All right. Bargain Brand Wellness is live 3 days a week. You can find us live on YouTube at Bargain Brand Wellness. You can find us live on TikTok at Off Brand Tim. We're live 3 days a week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stop on by and hang out with us. All right. All right. Chapter 3 gets us into how AI is generating summaries, outlines, or answers. The video we're watching treats this as a feature, but this is where the line quietly gets crossed. Decision making versus what matters versus what connects versus what belongs together is simply being outsourced.
The second way to help you get started is by using AI to direct you to websites and resources specific to what you need. Like I know a lot of you will be sitting your GCSEs, NEET and MCAT soon, and there's quite a few YouTube channels and websites that you might not have heard of that AI can direct you to, so that you have a good amount of resources to cover what you need to know. And yeah, there is the fact that AI won't be 100% accurate, but it hasn't been an issue for me even at med school. Like it's only really an issue for very specific or high level things. And now, even when you have your study material, some topics are just difficult to get through, and you probably don't have 24/7 access to a teacher, so you end up with a lot of unanswered questions. So what you should do is use AI as your personal tutor, and there's a few ways to do this. If you're struggling with a certain topic, tap your understanding of the topic and ask it to assess your knowledge and fill in any gaps. This is helpful in 2 ways. First, it encourages critical thinking since you actively engage in your learning by explaining to your AI tutor, and then it helps you strengthen your weaker areas by giving details on the parts you don't explain properly. Doing this and asking it to make questions is a good way to improve your understanding so that you're ready to move on to the next topic. And now the next point helps with the idea that a lot of the time we don't know what we need to improve on. So what you should do is use your AI tutor to mark your work and give you feedback. Unlike teachers, AI isn't limited by time or energy, so it can give detailed feedback personalized to you in seconds so that you know exactly what you need to work on. And
yeah, I definitely like the idea of using it to find other resources, especially if it's something that maybe is more relatable or maybe a little bit more interesting. You can pay a little bit more attention to, like a video, right? Find a video related to this that I can watch and maybe get a clearer understanding of it. I definitely like that idea. Ooh. I'm recording this, but I'm not even going to use this part because like I said, I kind of have an idea of what I want. We have the why it matters, the what's really happening, and then the reflection question. And then I just need like a 4th part. And that way each segment's something different. I like that idea. Yeah. We're brainstorming here. We're working our way how to evolve, but I already know how to work on that. But we'll still finish what it is that we're covering here. All right. What are we getting into next? Would this improve your life or ruin it? You never know. Would this improve your life or ruin it? Let's ask the question straight up. Would using AI to study improve your life or ruin it? Improve your life if you use AI to organize material into buckets, break big topics into smaller, manageable parts, ask practice questions, and explain concepts at different levels until they click. In that role, AI acts like a whiteboard or a study partner. It reduces clutter so your brain can actually think. It ruins it if you use AI to generate finished answers, write papers for you, skip the confusion part entirely, avoid explaining things in your own words. That's when learning quietly disappears. So here's the line that matters. AI doesn't replace effort, it replaces chaos. If you still have to decide what goes where, explain it back, and wrestle with the ideas, your brain is still doing the work. If the tool removes that struggle, it's no longer helping, it's bypassing. So the question isn't, is AI cheating? It's, am I still thinking? Bam, bam, ding, ding, ding. Get another spin on the wheel of wellness. See what we're going to get into next. I was saying, what did we just click on? I totally just spaced out, forgot what we clicked on. We're going to play some word salad. All right, we got tasty fish. First one I'm seeing is tuna. Tuna and then salmon. Mackerel. Wait a minute, is that how you spell mackerel, or is mackerel not on here? I don't think mackerel's on here. Trout. I'm seeing mac. But yeah, I don't think mackerel's on here. What about sardine? Sardine's not on here. All right, we got a 5, an 8, a 4, and a 6. Why do I feel like some of these might be really difficult fish names? I mean, tuna, salmon, and trout are pretty common names. That one was easy. I was thinking shark. I know bass isn't tasty. Well, I think there are certain types of bass. I really want to say mackerel, but I don't. There's no way to even make that. I can get mac. Oh yeah, I can. There we go. Okay, I just had to figure out my way around it. Mackerel is on there. There was 2 E's in mackerel. I couldn't remember how to spell it. Okay, that knocked out some good letters, so that really helps out too. I feel like that first one's going to be something that starts with a B. But what? I don't know. I mean, it could start with a vowel, but I don't think it does. It's either got to be a B or an L. Bouts. Bor. Re. BR. Ream. See, I feel like there's going to be certain ones I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. This is moving. Why is that moving like that? That means we're close. We got a 4 and a 6. Brello. Breast. Ooh, we got breast. I didn't even see that. Brezzo. We're close with this. Bream. I saw a bream. What the heck is a bream? I've just kind of lucked into that one because I would have never guessed that. All right, and so okay, so these last 2 are higher letter. Either has to start with the. Both of them either start with the T. The last one definitely starts with the T. It has to be TU. Right? We got tuna. So it has to be TU. Torello. Tourette. Turbot. I'm just guessing right here. And soul. Those last ones were all guesses. How I got that in 3 minutes and 41 seconds, I have no idea. I was really just guessing. That's funny. That's really funny. I was literally guessing on all of those. All right. There's an unwritten rule floating around that nobody actually voted on. If you use AI to study, you're cheating. And that rule does more damage than people realize. It creates shame. And shame doesn't make people study better. It makes them hide, avoid, or give up altogether. Here's the part we don't talk about enough. Tools have always been part of learning. Textbooks, calculators, study guides, tutors, flashcards. None of those magically removed effort. They just changed where the effort went. AI is no different. Using AI to organize information, ask questions, or test your understanding isn't cheating. It's scaffolding. It's support. The real line isn't, did you use AI? The real line is, did you still have to think? Because if the thinking is gone, then the learning is gone. No matter how traditional the method looks, maybe the rule we actually need is simpler. If the tool helps you understand, it belongs. If it helps you avoid understanding, it doesn't. Ding, 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 ding. If you like what you're seeing, click like, share, and subscribe. You know, Bargain Brand Wellness, we're live 3 days a week. Tell a friend, tell a family, tell your coworker, tell your next door neighbor, the person you don't even like. They're going to come over here and you're going to make a friend out of them. Let's get another spin on the wheel of wellness. See what we're getting into next. All right, here we go. We're going to bring Nova in. I was wondering if we were going to do any Nova sessions today. We're going to do daily devotional. I'm going to bring Nova on and we're going to chat it up with her for a second. Maybe. I would say ChatGPT was acting up a little bit earlier. What's today's date? Tonight? It kept just taking a really long time. Maybe. Dun, 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 dun. And I mean, it's working. It's just, it's slow. And I haven't used voice mode today, to be honest. But ChatGPT's just been really slow today. Let's try this again. Maybe. Because you can see where it's locked up. Well, it's not locked up. It's just really slow. It's just not responding. Yep, and there it is. Not responding. We're gonna wait and see if we can get Nova going. It's been coming back up. It's just been taking a minute. And you can see where I clicked on it. That's weird because now it's not. That's weird. I clicked on it and it's not working. Oh, that is unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So we'll just interpret this to the best of our own ability. All right, so today's daily devotional passage says, "Trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of the day. Refuse to feel guilty about something that is so pleasing to me, the King of the universe. Because I am omnipotent, I am able to bend time and events in your favor. You will find that you can accomplish more in less time after you have given yourself to me in rich communion. Also, as you align yourself with my perspective, you can sort out what is important and what is not. Don't fall into the trap of being constantly on the go. Many things people do in my name have no value in my kingdom. To avoid meaningless works, stay in continual communication with me. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. All right, so, I mean, without Nova, I can kind of see how that ties in what we're talking about. It's talking about leaving the meaningless stuff out, which is kind of fits into what we're talking about with AI. You know, kind of taking out some of the fluff that you might have to study. You're not necessarily, this is one thing they don't explain to you in school. You're not expected to remember every single thing you learn. The idea is just to retain as much information as you can during the period of time that you have those classes. So, and is there plenty of stuff that's meaningless? Is there plenty of stuff you'll never use again? Absolutely. Right. And so I kind of think of it like along the same lines, you know, by asking, you know, by using AI, we're helping to eliminate some of the things that aren't quite as important. So interesting. I like it. All right, let's head on over to chapter 4 of today's video. We're gonna wrap up. We're almost done with today's show. All right, so the next step, right, or the missing step. What this video never fully addresses is structure. How information is organized before answers exist. This is where the bucket breakdown fits. AI works best when it helps create containers, not conclusions.
That could be by asking it to mark your essay against a marking criteria so that you can improve on it before your deadline, or sharing your answers to questions that you never seem to get full marks in. This can help you see if you're missing working out in a maths problem or missing a point for a 3-mark question. As you keep using it as a personal tutor, you'll pick up on your common mistakes and eventually you'll learn to avoid those mistakes by yourself. And now I'll ask you another question. What do you normally do during exam week? A lot of students skim through a bunch of their notes or try to cram new things, but this isn't efficient and you know that it just stresses you out even more. So what I do is, on top of practicing exam questions, I make high yield summaries for different topics. And there's 2 ways to use AI for this so that it can make exam week less stressful. The first is asking AI to condense your notes into a cheat sheet summary so that you can easily refresh your understanding without being weighed down by thousands of notes the day before the exam. The second is to create cheat sheet summaries from YouTube videos by simply copying over the transcript from the video into ChatGPT. The benefits of these cheat sheets is that they're surprisingly well organized, making them easy to go through with friends. So it's a good way to quickly teach each other and ask questions so that you can make exam week less stressful. So using AI is an easy way to make studying during exam season more productive. And if you know of any other AI study tips, leave a comment below so that others can benefit. But a problem that AI doesn't solve are the study mistakes that a lot of students, including high achieving students, make. So
all right, and I just realized we'll just stop recording. I just realized I wasn't even sharing my screen throughout that whole part. Shoot, that's all right. We're working on a new flow here. Yeah, my issue with the high yield summaries. Now I don't label it. I usually just tell it to give me a good in-depth summary. It'll give you information, but sometimes it's just too much all at once. And then oftentimes it loves to put everything in bullet points, and the bullet points don't always make sense. It'll be like 3 words, and I'm like, I don't even know what the point you got. If you want to use bullet points are good for list, right? A list that makes sense, not just bullet point after bullet point after bullet point. So that's why I would say I'm definitely hesitant on using it for summaries. Now, I do like that. I found the transcript feature in YouTube. I've used that. I like watching videos. I can watch them, and if it's a longer one, I can put it on 1.5 speed, and I can turn a 45-minute video into a 30-minute video. I don't typically get that long of videos, but I do also like using the transcript feature, copy and paste that, throw it into ChatGPT, and it can really break down that video for you a little bit more. So I definitely do enjoy that as well. All right, our kind of last segment for the day, we're going to finish up with off-brand affirmations. You know, we like doing those. Told you we still have some recurring stuff. All right, off-brand affirmations for the day. Number 1, you're not bad at studying. You're overwhelmed by information that hasn't been given a place to live. Off-brand affirmation number 2, Needing structure doesn't mean you're weak. It means your brain is trying to work efficiently. Off-brand affirmation number 3. Using tools to organize your thinking isn't cheating. It's choosing clarity over chaos. Off-brand affirmation number 4. Struggling to focus doesn't mean you don't care. It usually means you care too much without a system. And off-brand affirmation number 5. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer loose pieces. All right. We're going to get one more spin on the wheel wellness, and I think that's going to wrap us up for the day. We're going to finish out. We're going to get out of here strong. We went just over, a little over an hour. Depends on what we're going to finish up here. Looks like we're going to finish up with Let's Be Honest. 420 provocative questions to ask your drunken friends. Good way to finish up the show. I think so. All right. I need a number. We're going to go with number, let's say today's February 9th. Do we want to do 29? I don't want to do a low number. Let's do a higher number. 296. 296. I don't know why. I was thinking 226, but let's work our way to the back. 296. I'll answer this to the best of my ability, and then leave a comment. Feel free to answer to the best of your ability as well. What do you think is your most bizarre fetish? Okay. Fetish. I mean, when we say fetish, we're talking sexual, right? I don't know that I really have a fetish. I mean, I can get into like what I'm attracted to. I'm a butt guy. I like butts. I don't know that I really have a fetish. When I was younger, it's a little weird as you get older, but when I was younger, I liked those little schoolgirl outfits, like the white dress shirt with the plaid skirt. I used to think that was pretty hot, but that was, like I said, that was when I was in my 20s. It's a little weird in your 40s to still like that, in my opinion, anyway. No judgment to those who still do, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I can't say I'm a fetish type of guy. I'm honestly, I'm one of those people. I don't really have physical. Mine is more. You can call it corny, but I'm just more here. You know, that's just how I've always been. So yeah. So that is yeah. That's our Let's Be Honest for the day. From 420 provocative questions to ask your drunken friends. All right. So yeah. So once again, shorter episode, shorter format. I see kind of some things where I can flow. Definitely feels like we're still a little rushed. It kind of worked out because it's kind of quiet in here. I didn't really have anybody stop by on YouTube or TikTok. So we'll see how it flows with having more people on here. I could see it going really feeling like we're rushing if we had people in chat as well. I mean, I'm okay going over an hour, like an hour to an hour and 15, but I really like keeping it to an hour. I don't really want to take too much more off of here though. That's my thing. I like getting, because there's 12 things on the wheel wellness. I like getting through at least 2/3 of them. I like getting through 8 of the 12 things. Yeah, I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But yeah, short show, but a fun show. Fun show. We still got through. A little quiet in the chat, but we still enjoyed what we did over here. So yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap up. We're going to give our final thoughts on tonight's show, and then we're going to get out of here. We'll be back live on Wednesday, Eastern. Yeah, it's Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another fun show. Remember, we'll be live Friday with our next guest, Ethan McDermott. So what this episode really points to is how often we confuse effort with effectiveness, especially when we're overwhelmed. When everything feels hard, we tend to blame motivation, discipline, or ourselves instead of noticing whether the systems we're using actually make sense. Structure doesn't remove the work, it reveals where the work actually is. Tools like AI don't change how learning works as much as they expose how we've been trying to carry too much at once. If there's anything to carry forward, it's the idea that clarity usually comes from containment, not intensity. Until next time, notice where things feel heavier than they should, and consider whether the issue is effort or organization. And as always, make it worth your wellness.
Make it worth your wellness every